Hey, Nerdy Sports Fan here. Week 14 NFL action. We're getting close to the playoffs. We're in the fantasy football playoffs. So it's time to update the power rankings. So it's been a few weeks. And since then, actually, the bottom really hasn't changed a heck of a lot. They've gotten some wins, but they're still terrible. So the top is really where most of the change has occurred. The top half of my power rankings has changed pretty drastically. Um, Top 15 really still the same top 15 teams, just moved around quite a bit. So last we have the Cincinnati Bengals. They're still crap. They still only have one win. Second to last, we have Washington. They have a racist team name, a terrible owner, and a bad quarterback, but it's not his fault. He's a rookie. They've gotten a couple of wins, and they're looking better. They really got to stick with the youth movement, get Geis in there more often, but yeah, they're crap still. And 30th, we have the Jets, the Jets, Jets, S-U-C-K, suck. So people want to make excuses for them. They've got a bad line. Darnold's great. He's young still, and he's still having issues, and yeah, they do have a bad line, but they also have a coaching scheme that doesn't really mesh with the talent, mostly because the talent evaluator, the GM, just got ousted in favor of what the coach wanted, and they didn't really mesh well to begin with anyway. So just too many chefs working in the same pot? I don't know. But bad roster construction can be blamed here. On 29th, we have the Dolphins. Fitzpatrick is fun to watch, but they're a bad team still. 29th. Yeah, so 28th, we have the Falcons. Why hasn't Dan Quinn been fired? All I have to say there. They've got talented players, especially on offense, not doing a damn thing with them. 27th, the Buccaneers. They're fun to watch at times. They've got really good wide receivers. They've got a quarterback that can't get out of his own way sometimes, and holding those receivers back, really. His numbers are there because Godwin and Evans are dominant. Two of the top 10 receivers in the league, and they play on the same team. Winston would look like hot garbage on any other team. 26th, we have the Browns. They've been fun to watch recently. They've had a couple of wins, but they're still bad. They're going to beat bad teams like the Bengals this week, but they're not good. This job was too much for Kitchens. That much should be obvious. They should fire him and get somebody who's up for the task. Just clean break. It won't make sense. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Get him out of there. Get a different coach that's going to have control over that locker room. You'll do wonders with that kind of move. 25th, we have the Giants. This might be a bit high. Probably is a bit high. They're a 2-win team. But they're going in the right direction. I think they're only bad right now because, well, Daniel Jones hurt. Saquon Barkley likely hurt. Their roster construction is right. They're going in the right direction. They've had some tough breaks. But I like where they're going. This is more of a next year rating than it is for this year, I guess. 24th, we have the Broncos. They've not been good. They've been close. They've been close in so many games. They can't find a way to win. That screams leadership to me. So, quarterback needs to step up. They need to identify a quarterback to have that kind of natural leadership to hopefully put things in the right direction. Until they find that, this is the range where they're going to find themselves. So, for their sake, I hope Drew Lock is the answer. Really do. It looked fun last week, but, he's a rookie. So I'm not really sure that's going to be consistent. So, 23rd, the Bears. They're bad. Mitch Trubisky's a train wreck. 22nd, the Lions. These two can easily trade. Doesn't matter. They're bad. Matt Stafford's hurt. They need a new coach. Neither team lived up to expectations. 21, Cardinals. Kyler Murray's fun to watch. They're going in the right direction. They try every week. So, 20th, Jaguars. They should be higher on this list right now. But they benched Gardner Minshew. And they lost a couple games they maybe could have won in starting Nick Foles. So, they need to go back. 19th, Chargers. They've got a very talented roster with a quarterback that can't do a damn thing with it. Phillip Rivers is toast. But they got a good defense. They got great receivers. They got good running backs. They're dangerous. 18th, Panthers. Just fired their head coach. Shouldn't need to say much more, but their defense hasn't been up to snuff. And that was their coach's forte. Kyle Allen is, he's young. It's his first year starting. So, yeah, he's up and down. But the defense should have been able to do more to hold them in line. So, disappointing season for them. 17th, Eagles. They just got beat by the Dolphins. So, I mean, in spite of being really close in their divisional race still because the Cowboys are crap, you can't rate these guys very high. The 16th spot, we got the Raiders. Disappointed me. They lost to the Jets recently. And they should have had a better showing up against the Chiefs. But, I mean, the bottom half of the league's real bad right now. So, yeah, the Raiders are better than a lot of teams. 15th, Cowboys. Nobody wants to win this division. They're hot garbage. They should be looking for a new coach right now, but they're not because Jerry Jones doesn't have the stones to fire a guy who may as well be another Sun Duel. 14th, Rams. They got an outside shot. They do. With the Vikings losing last week, them winning, they have a real opportunity. They find themselves as the trap in a trap game for Seattle, which should be a benefit to them. They should win. If that happens, Minnesota's in trouble. That's the toughest kind of game that you're going to get against Seattle. And if the Rams can pull that out, the Vikings are showing they can't pull that kind of game out. And they can get drummed out of the NFC wildcard race by the Rams pretty easily. 13th, we have the Colts. They're still a very tough team. Very good offensive line. And I expect more wins out of them. They still have a chance to win this division. They're still in contention for the final wild card spot as well. They got to string some wins together. They're a tough-nosed team with a good offensive line. It might be able to happen. But honestly, I expect these guys to go further down the list at the end of the year. 12th, we have the Steelers. They're holding the last playoff spot right now. So, kind of makes sense. Depending on how Hodges does, they might drop. They could drop out of playoff contention and get replaced by the Colts or the Raiders pretty easily. So, they need to hang on tight. 11th, we have the Vikings. Bad showing. They could have won against Seattle. They had a stranglehold on that game. Let it slip away. They find a way to choke away big games. Frustrating. 10th, we have the Titans. They are red hot right now. Red freaking hot. They got a tough-nosed head coach. They got a tough-nosed team. And they've been winning games since they put Ryan Tannehill in there. So, Derrick Henry's a load. Nobody can tackle that dude. They're going to be strong. So, they are the most likely team to take over the last playoff spot for the Steelers. 8th, Patriots. I know this seems low for them, but they've benefited from a bad schedule, and they're trending in the wrong direction. All right? Passing game looks awful. Running game doesn't look good. They're leaning on a defense. Defense is staying on the field too long because other people have figured out their offense. So they might go down hard quick. This is not the Patriots dynasty sort of teams. So I expect an early out in the playoffs for the Patriots. 7th, Packers. Leading their division. About to have a stranglehold on it when they play Minnesota later in the year. But they are a rejuvenated team. And with Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, that kind of skill position talent, you really have a shot in every game. So, yeah, they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs, for sure. 6th, Chiefs. They seem to have righted the ship a bit on defense. Not great still, but what they need. Which isn't much because that offense is dynamite. It doesn't matter who they put at receiver or running back. As long as Pat Mahomes is still running it, they're putting up points. So the defense only needs to do a bit. And they've managed that recently. So hopefully for them it sticks. 5th, I got the Texans. They're getting hot at the right time. Just lumped up on the Patriots, and they have a scary offense to go up against. So this defense stays in good form like they were last week, they could do some real damage. I don't see them losing the grip on their division. So, Titans and Colts are fighting for that last wild card spot because Texans aren't letting go at this point. 4th, I have the Saints. Recently, they haven't really done a heck of a lot. They've beaten teams that they really should be able to beat, and they lost to a team that they should be able to beat. So, a win against the Falcons doesn't, do much for me. A loss against the Falcons raises some red flags. Now, they recovered, but they recovered by beating Tampa, the Panthers, and the Falcons again. So, they haven't played a quality team since that loss, and we'll see what's going on. 3rd, 49ers. It's what happens when you get beat. All right? They're still a very good team with a very good defense. But there's a dynamic element in the top 2 teams that they just don't have right now. Speaking of, 2nd, we have the Seahawks. MVP candidate quarterback. Dominant running game. Great defense. Solid coaching. Super Bowl winning coach. Dangerous team right now. Leading their division. Looking for home field. And number 1 spot, I got the Ravens. The Ravens, nobody's got an answer for them right now. They've won 8 in a row. They're now the top spot in the AFC. And nobody's got an answer for Lamar Jackson. So they've got an MVP candidate quarterback, solid running game, solid defense, Super Bowl winning head coach. The Ravens and the Seahawks are the discussion to be had right now. They could meet each other in the Super Bowl, and that'd be a great game to watch. We got the fantasy football playoffs now, soon to be followed by the actual NFL playoffs. Stay tuned. Check out the rest of the videos I have for more fantasy football advice. I've got a full fantasy football playoff primer that you need to check out. Argue with me all day on these picks. I'm sure a lot of people want to yell at me about the Giants. But I'll talk to you all week into the next round of power rankings, at least through the end of the week, where things are obviously going to shift again coming this Sunday. So, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll see you guys next week.